Hello, my name is Mason Calhoun. I'm doing my informative speech today on car maintenance. I'm doing this on car maintenance because I believe many people don't understand how easy it is to do simple maintenance and how they can keep their car in a safe and reliable state, as well as save much money on costly repairs. To start, I'd like to ask a question. If you could save $1,400 in just a few minutes by doing simple car maintenance, would you? Personally, I've done this myself. Not too long ago, I brought my car to a shop to get re-inspected, and they called me saying that it wasn't going to pass the inspection. They offered me repairs that were going to cost $1,400, and I respectfully declined them. I knew that the fixes that I could do were pretty simple, and I could do them myself and save a lot of money and not have to pay for a mechanic, as well as the parts that they wanted me to use. Overall, I was able to get under my car, fix the boots that they were telling me were torn on my steering rack, which was supposed to be broken and was not. I just had to clean up, as well as my headlight, which wouldn't pass inspection, that they said needed to be replaced. All I had to do was get behind it with a screwdriver and readjust the setting on where it was aimed, and clean up the back of my control arms where they said it was deteriorated. By doing this with just brake cleaner and a rag and a screwdriver, I only spent about $10 on a $1,400 fix. So, not only by having a little bit of knowledge with simple maintenance can you avoid having outrageous bills from mechanics, but you can also prevent your car damage and keep your vehicle running safe and in very good shape. So first, I'd like to go over simple things such as fluids. Keeping all your fluids at the proper level can easily maintain your vehicle. Watching the oil level is a very important one. Your oil should always be at the proper level, and it should also be changed on specific intervals. Mainly for me, I choose mileage. Every 3,000 to 5,000 miles I change my oil, which keeps my car's oil clean. I also change the oil filter while I do my oil change. Some people do 6 months. If they don't drive 5,000 miles in 6 months, they'll change it about every 6 months. Also, making sure you have the proper amount of coolant, you can prevent your car from overheating. Brake fluid is also very important. Brake fluid allows your vehicle to operate very safely, because without brake fluid, you're not going to be doing much stopping. And one of the most simple fluids to keep track of is your windshield wiper fluid. Windshield wiper fluid is very useful, especially when you're driving on dirt roads or even wooded areas, or just very nasty roads that have stuff that kicks up and cakes on your windshield. Another thing to look at is your tires. Making sure you have the proper amount of tread on your tire is very important. Tires that have tread above 7/32 of an inch will mean that a safe amount of tread is still there. Tires that have a tread at 2/32 of an inch will not pass any inspection in any state in the United States. They are very unsafe to have such low tread. With tread that low, anytime you drive in the rain, you're extremely likely to hydroplane and lose control of your vehicle. A good habit as well is to rotate your tires often to avoid overwear. If you rotate them every 2 oil changes, or about 10,000 miles, your tread will stay at a very good state. Also, one thing to keep in mind is that when you rotate your tires, for front wheel vehicles, you need to bring the front tires straight back while moving the back tire to the other side and then to the front. It's opposite for rear wheel vehicles. You bring the rear tires to the front, and then the front tires to the other side, and then the back. And a very easy thing that a lot of people miss is their spare tire. When people rotate the tires and when they check the tires, they often forget to check their spare tire that's in the trunk or under the vehicle. because it's out of sight. And a lot of things that are out of sight are just out of mind. So keeping this tire, the spare tire, properly inflated is very important. A lot of people, they don't keep it inflated, so when they get a flat tire on the side of the road, they go to get their spare tire, and their spare tire is already flat because they haven't kept it inflated. Another thing to look at is your brake pads. Brake pads are very important to the car. If they're not there because they're overworn, then you got a problem when you can't stop properly and you have to make an emergency stop. And it's very easy to check the size of the brake pads because really it's just a visual check. It's as simple as taking the tire off and checking how large the pad is and how worn it is. Another thing to keep track of is your air filter. The air filter keeps clean air going in your engine so that your car is running the most efficient. A lot of stock air filters need to be replaced when they're dirty, while many aftermarket air filtration systems can be cleaned and reused. Many aftermarket air intake systems are surprisingly simple to install and actually very beneficial for the car. Now, let's talk about the effects of not taking these easy steps to prevent major and minor issues with your vehicle. So some of the effects of car maintenance neglect would be overheating. Overheating is a common issue that happens with many cars. There's many causes of this as well. Sometimes it's low oil, because low oil can cause more friction in the engine and cause it to run hot, which is very bad for the engine as well. When your oil is low, it's very simple to just add oil directly into the engine via the valve cover oil cap to keep you going. The oil can be measured by the dipstick on the engine, where the oil in the engine should be in between the visual marks on the stick. Another thing is your coolant. If your coolant is low or your radiator is even possibly leaking, you will run pretty hot and you're very likely to overheat. A simple fix for that, if you're on the road and driving and you notice your car is getting hot and you notice that your radiator is leaking or you're very low on coolant, if you need to, just add water. Water acts as a very good coolant in a sticky situation. Another thing that happens often for neglect on your car's maintenance is flat tires. If your tread runs low on your tire, it can burst. Also, we all hit a nail once or twice in our life. And even a pothole can pop your tire. The spare tire can be easily put on as long as you understand how to use the jack that's located in your trunk. And if you don't know how to replace your tire, it can also be, you can access the user guide in your car, normally that's in the glove box, and it normally has step-by-step instructions for jacking up and replacing your spare tire. Squeaky brakes are also a simple thing that you hear that lets you know that there's a problem with your car. Anytime you hear something strange or feel something strange, there's often something wrong with your car. So squeaky brakes often mean that the brake pads are very worn out. Brake pads that are overworn can fail and not allow the car to properly brake, which can cause an accident and even death. Replacing the brakes is often a very simple process, where the wheel just needs to be removed and the old brake pad should be taken out and the new one should just be inserted, and then the tire should be replaced. Many simple steps can be taken to prevent all of these faults from occurring, and having the knowledge to prevent them can not only save you money, but unwanted servicing and from more problems happening as well. Checking fluid levels, changing oil, and rotating tires, and making sure your brake pads are fine are all great ways to stay a step ahead of your car's maintenance. There are oftentimes small signals, such as a temperature gauge, or being a little high, or even a tire looking a little low, that can be caught early to prevent further problems. If you take simple action to make sure everything is in your proper state, your driving experience will be much better. Thank you.